So moving from one team with a high spent a lot of money on their team, moving to another that is the San Diego Padres. Dylan, can you describe it? Can you analyze what happened to the San Diego Padres this year?
AJ Preller needs to be fired.
Mm,
You got to fire AJ Preller. You know, you can't continuously do this. Where we can admire someone for going all in all they want, but he's taken some big ass swings. He trades all of his prospects for Juan Soto. He trades all of his young 15-year-old prospects for Yu Darvish. He signs a Manny Machado. He signs a Xander Bogaerts. He brings in a Nelson Cruz. He's got all these pieces moving around him. He trades like he was a trading machine. Joe Musgrove came over via trade. Blake Snell came over via trade. Almost everyone on that roster was pretty much via trade. And then you also bring up you sign a Ha-Seong Kim, who's had a phenomenal year. I'll give him that. But they just continue to make these trades. But I think it starts in the clubhouse. That's where the issue is. And it's not Bob Melvin, because we've seen him be a great manager with Oakland. You
yes.
can manage in Oakland, you can manage anywhere. Let me tell you that. You could manage any ball club in the world. It's not Bob Melvin. I think the relationship between Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis is so fractured that clubhouse is just completely destroyed, because those are your two leaders. You got a guy who gets hurt on a dirt bike. You got a guy who gets suspended for PEDs, who has to switch his position to right field, who's just a head case whenever he walks in the room. And he's supposed to be your franchise guy getting paid all this money. Everyone's loving Fernando Tatis. No one's talking about Fernando Tatis this year.
Hmm.
On the top of your head, the guys that you know, Otani, everyone's talking about these flashy guys that are playing great baseball. You can't name Tatis's numbers if I told you right now, because no one's paying attention. No one's
Let's
paying
see.
attention to Fernando Tatis, which is fine. He's hitting 260. He's got a, like
260, 25 bombs. I mean,
yeah. But I mean,
jeez.
he's still putting up numbers. But the bottom line is there's so much that teams are not looking at with the Padres. And it's one of those years where it's bad. They're 3 down, but they've won 7 straight. That's not going to matter. But they're 82 plus in run differential. So mathematically they should be winning. They have a Cy Young winner leading their rotation. They have Josh Hader in the back end of the bullpen. They have literally anybody that you want on that team. But something in the clubhouse is just not gelling.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
sometimes that can translate to the field. And it's not the manager, because he's managing well. They're winning baseball games. They're led by an ace. They have great timely hit. Like, it's just it's not falling for them right now. And it's just impossible to describe. But something in that clubhouse is just not working for them.
Yeah, so I totally agree with you. This is not on AJ Preller. This is not on
I
AJ
think it
Preller.
is.
I don't think it is, and I'm gonna tell you why. This is not on AJ Preller. This is on the guys in that clubhouse. The Padres have shown no heart this year, no lack of urgency, a lack of urgency, no motivation, and they're only 4.5 games back out of the final wild card spot. That's what's crazy to me. But you have 7 silver sluggers on that team, 6 of whom have finished in the top 6 of MVP voting. And you have a very underwhelming offense there in San Diego. This is what happens when nobody buys into the team success over individual numbers. You just stated Tatis, he's not having a great year, but he's having a decent year. So is Xander Bogaerts. But here's the issue, Dylan. This is why I say this team has no heart. This is why I put this on the players. Dylan, they are 0-11 in extra inning games this year. They are 6-22 in one-run games. Where's your heart? You win extra inning games if you have heart, if you play together as a team. Dylan, this is on the players. This ain't on AJ Preller. This is on the players. This team has showed no motivation with all the hype this year. There's some chemistry issues there in San Diego, and it's clearly obvious when you can't come together and win close games.
I think that's why it's on AJ Preller. He put the guys in the room. He put all the guys in the room. He tried to build an all-star team. and he traded. He using he's allocating all the resources that's ever been accumulated into the Padres baseball organization, and he's traded all of the assets that he's had of young talent. You
Okay, but
remember he
who
blew
has
this up in 2014.
right. But who has to manage these guys? If I anything, I put this on Melvin before I put it on AJ Preller. Preller's responsible for getting those guys in the clubhouse, putting together on paper a team, and
On
all
paper,
a team that should win the World Series or at least get there. All right. Now it's up to the manager and the players to execute that. And if you can't
maybe that's
execute that, that's why you said it, Dylan. You said that there is some chemistry issues. There's something going on in that clubhouse. That has nothing to do with AJ Preller, in my opinion.
maybe then it is Bob Melvin.
Maybe it
Maybe it's
is.
Bob Melvin because he's used to coaching these or managing these guys that are making 900,000 a year, playing in front of no fans with no expectations, and he's winning games with them because he can relay a message to them because they understand, like, hey, this might be my last shot at playing Major League Baseball. That's what every single person that puts on the jersey that says athletics, they might know it's their last day playing in the MLB. That's how
True.
bad the team is.
Yeah.
But Bob Melvin bought into those players. He got them to play for him. Now he's got these high personality, high value, top dollar guys that are in this building, and they're not winning games in his clubhouse. And the message is not getting across to those star players the same way it did to a Chad Pinder, anybody else that plays in Oakland. Like
Yeah.
those guys, the messages is not getting across. But I want to go. I want to.
They're just dealing with the egos of guys who are making 30, $40 million a year.
Yes, but that's the thing that's crazy. Baseball's not a game where it's like, give me the ball. I want this. I got the money. Everyone's playing the same amount of time, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's doing their job. But once again, the relationship between Tatis and Machado is fractured. Machado doesn't respect him. There's just something going on there. And then I think at some point you have to say it's on AJ Preller because he's tore this thing
Mm.
down and he's thrown it up twice.
He
He
did his
traded
job, man.
Trey Turner the year he drafted him.
He did his job, man.
Justin Upton.
A year ago, you say next year. Okay, let's go back to a year ago. And you go, AJ Preller comes up to you and says, hey, I'm going to have a team with Xander Bogaerts, Juan Soto, Fernando Tatis, and Manny Machado. What your initial reaction would be, holy crap, who is stopping this team? All right. And I just listened to you. This team is not good in crunch time. This team, at some point, this is what great teams do. They have some sort of chemistry, some sort of continuity to where they get in those high pressure situations and they exceed. The Padres can't do that. I'm not putting that on AJ Preller. I'm putting it on the guys in that clubhouse or the guy that's running that clubhouse.
I think we'll have to agree to disagree here because Preller, he's been at this job. He's been comfy in that chair. It's been
He
cozy since
he
24.
takes shots though.
He is
He's
very,
shooting
very.
his shot.
That's what's crazy though. Every single time there's a problem with the Padres, all he does is trade for someone else. And it's not getting any better. At some point, you got to realize, okay, maybe we need to stop wheeling and dealing and trading these James Woods for a freaking Luke Voigt or Josh Bell or whatever the hell we're doing. Like, we got to understand that maybe bringing in a G-Man Choi isn't going to fix our shitty record. You got to understand that bringing in players like a mid-season, like, oh, here we go. You know who could really fix this problem? Jake Marisnick. No, no one's going to solve your problems by adding more veterans and more players to this ball club. The way you do it is by realizing, okay, maybe I messed up. Let's get rid of some of these contracts. Let's relax and kind of build this thing back up. But he's already burned his farm system. He lit every single prospect he had on fire and threw gasoline onto it.
Oh man. But I would do it. I would do it to get Juan Soto. I would do it to get Manny Machado, you know? I don't know. I think it's just been an unfortunate amount of events here that has transpired for the Padres this season. It just didn't work out. And like you said, we agree. This is a locker room issue. Something's going on there to where they cannot come together as a team to win baseball games. So I think we definitely agree on that.
Juan,
All right. So
Juan,
what?
Juan, Juan Soto's overrated, but we'll get into that.
Overrated. Oh gosh. Okay.